Hey everyone, my name is Johnny. Welcome to another episode of the Manor Podcast. I'm here today with St. Lucian artist, producer, writer, Eempey Slicker himself. Welcome, my brother.
Welcome, man. Give thanks for that, bro. Appreciate it.
A pleasure. I listened to your most recent song, The Memories, man, and that kind of set me back a little bit. Just thinking of, all the celebrations that a lot of us miss with our loved ones, the parties, the creating those memories. What inspired you to write that song?
It was more based off just basically exactly what you said. And for me, looking back at a recent loss, right? I lost my uncle last year.
Sorry to hear that.
Right? And it was just looking at how he was just so vibrant and energetic and always enjoying himself.
Yeah.
And for me, it just took me back to like, it's so important to have great moments and enjoy yourself and, just basically live your life to the best. Not saying that you go out there and just like drink every day,
Or wild out
or wild out or do some crazy stuff. Nah, just like do what makes you happy.
Yes.
And then just have your limits, have your boundaries, set your priorities straight and do what's best for you. And that song just came off when you listen to how it starts, where it's like whether you stress, whether you're broken, be appreciative that you woke up this morning.
Definitely.
And that's how I started my verse by saying, like, I go party like it's my last fete. That's how I live in it.
That's all. That's fantastic.
And it's not like I want it to be my last fete.
But it's not at all. Not at all.
Party like with that type of energy. Like I'm never gonna be at another party again. So I'm just gonna vibe out and have a great time. So that's what it was for me when it comes to that song. And the memories part is just like you hear the verse. Just for fete and we gone, mash up fete and we done, we gone. It's just of saying like nothing there to last. Everything is gonna be gone. So, we just figure it out. Just do what's best for you.
Do what's best for you. Make the best of every moment.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. So, what inspired your musical journey? Like, what got you started?
Music on a whole started for me through Tupac, right?
Okay.
That's actually my favorite artist. That's who started the trend for me. I wanted to be like him. And looking at his lifestyle, I could have relate, just seeing like the background he came from and these like crazy experiences.
Yeah.
And I really liked his music. I liked the message. He was a poet. For like Pac in the sense of a rapper, it made me want to rap. That's how my journey started off in the music as rapping. And I had to kind of like find myself. I felt like I was being somebody else, which I really was because I was like trying to
embody him.
I was just doing what I liked, but not what I love, I should say, what my passion involves in. So there was a quick turnover over the past few years, and I got into the vibes of fusion music, Afro, Soca, dancehall, and I kind of like just followed the path of the Soca trend.
Yeah. I mean, that's how most everybody artists start. We find someone that we relate to and it inspires us, to either go on a journey, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's, creativity. So embodying that, that idea of that person, and later on finding their own direction, their own road, their own path, speaks for itself.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But it's more of like finding yourself, to me, could be a difficult task if you don't really know what you're about.
Yeah.
Right? And you gotta have like some sort of, in my opinion, some sort of like a plan, right? Of like what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
And for me, it was just like being that artist that somebody could say, you know what, I enjoy listening to this guy's music. There was nothing about like hit record or platinum plaque or Grammy award. Yeah, no accolades. Just more of like just, getting the people to relate to you.
Cool.
And I feel like I've gotten that, even if it's just one person.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's more than one person, of course, but even if it's just one person, for me, I've accomplished that goal.
All right.
So
speaking about hit records, what would you say would your biggest song be?
That's Freaky Girls, hands down, because that's a song that has the most streams, the most views, over 8 million views, I believe, yeah. Streams is like maybe, if you add up all the streams, maybe over 10 million streams. And that song came out 2016 and took a course for 2017 and just ride on. When that song hit, it's just like it's still fresh because it's a classic.
Yeah.
You know, it's a classic. Like when I hear that song, sometimes I was in St. Martin recently and I heard that playing and I was like, damn.
So when you wrote that song, you knew, okay, yo, that's something I got already. Like you knew like it's gonna be big.
No, no, it was a collaboration of ideas of basically writing and everything with Courtney Lewis,
Okay.
Ricky T's manager. Ricky
Yeah.
T's the artist on the song, and like I believed in the song, but I
Yeah.
didn't know the song would have like took the path that it took.
Wow.
You know, it took a path of just like being a classic. And I wasn't expecting that. And you know, I rapped on that song. I had a rap verse in that because I was still being that.
Yeah, that was different for the culture.
It was very
new.
different,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't accepted right away in St. Lucia. It got a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
And it's to do with just them hearing something different, you know. Yes. And when you hear something different, sometimes you know you don't take to it right away.
Yeah,
you gotta, yeah. And it was just like, what are we doing? What are we trying? We did videos for it. Some of the videos was not up to the standard we wanted, but we still got something out of it. And for me, that journey was a very interesting one and a very like a learning experience for me.
So let's step back a little bit. So the Freaky Girl song, that was written by you, right?
It was me and Courtney Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did it together. It was a collaboration of basically I proposed the idea in my mini studio in my apartment in the Bronx.
Gotcha.
When I was living in that area. It was an Afro kind of fusion idea that I brought to the table, and being that he had the production knowledge,
yes,
and he has that skill set because he was known for like he's still known for one of them top producers, and he was able to put it together.
So Ricky T being on the track is for Courtney, his manager.
Yeah, that's his manager. So his manager is also his producer.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he was the one that basically I told him I wanted Ricky T on the track because I did the song by myself. We recorded the whole song. And I didn't like the direction I was taking, and
missing something.
I didn't feel like I could execute it. That's just it. At that time, like the confidence wasn't really 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I was just trying a thing. So that didn't play out as well. But the end result was amazing. Everything what that to happen will happen there because the end result was amazing because the path that I took by asking for Ricky T to be in that, and that was more of me being a big fan of his music and wanting to work with him because he's a legend, whether we like it or not. He's a legend in St. Lucia. You know, he won the most titles, and you know.
I get this man his flowers, man. Like,
yeah, man, 100%, and he's still winning things. So
still winning things.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, you know, it's like working with a top man like that in the industry was a big deal for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I believe that was like my first collaboration.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you even follow up from that? Like, you know, like being an artist and like you said, that being your top collaboration, your first collaboration and your top collaboration. Yeah. How do you now, you know, follow up from that?
To top that is a difficult task, right? And then me doing it alone was tough. I mean, it was even tough for Ricky T too. So it's like, it was a lot of work, you know? And up to a day like today, I feel like there's no other classic there yet.
What?
You know, there's no other classic there. I mean, I have songs that's great, and that's well taken and well respected, but as far as like saying like you have that Freaky Girls results, nah.
So is it always about the numbers? Like, because you know right now we hear a lot of stuff in the music industry about streams and, you know, album sales and, you know, like, so people usually base success on a song based on the amount of views, amount of shares. If they hear it every day on the radio, they hear everybody's bumping it, but what do you really see as a song successful?
You see, that's a difficult one. And for me, I feel like there's probably 1,010,000 definitions when it comes to that. Everybody might give their own opinion on that or whatever they believe that's the real reason. But, you know, a hit just speaks for itself. It's what people carry, what people relate to, what everybody's like. For example, TikTok now, right? Social media, TikTok, Instagram. You know when it's a hit, when you see like every time you scroll, you're seeing like 4 or 5 videos of the song, people dancing to it, they following that dance trend or whatever, basically type of vibe that they're doing in the video. You know, that's just what will like bring out a song and make it a hit.
Yeah.
Or if it's like I say, to simplify this, I don't want to make it too complicated. It's just of the people will make that the hit record.
Gotcha.
Right?
So with the influence of social media like TikTok, you have Instagram, you know, you have everybody adding songs to the reels and the stories. So it's like, how have you changed the dynamic of becoming an artist?
Now you gotta like cater to the media.
Yeah.
You gotta cater to the media in terms of like how you have to make, before it would be just like storytelling or a little poetry, a little, like, but now it's like you have to be relatable.
Like the right hook.
Yeah, you gotta like make something that will say about maybe a dancer or a like, or like side chick or something, right?
Yeah.
Just saying that's like that something they could relate to and
enjoy.
Yeah, for example, like big up classic Fresco Bar, not one. He has a song out right now that's doing very well, Dancer. Yeah, so that is trending, and it's like just people doing videos. Some of them not even really dancing, but they just vibe into it. So it's like it's a TikTok trend,
Gotcha.
right? A social media trend. So it's them kind of thing. The people take that, they just ride with it, and it just becomes a hit song. But the song have to have some substance, though.
Yeah.
They gotta have some substance. So at the end of the day, it's just basically doing something that people could relate to.
So with the massive TikTok and social media, you say is better quality songs on there or less quality, or if people is like putting songs out there and if you hit, it hit? Or have you even seen songs that's not really that good but it became famous over TikTok?
Yeah, no, a lot of that happens. I just feel like it's a now factor. It's just what's happening now. That is it now.
The longevity in that.
Yeah, a lot of these songs, they don't really last. They don't become classics. Yeah, some of them do, some don't. But it's just more of like the now factor. It's just like relatable songs, social media songs, TikTok songs. Like they have people that will make music specifically just to cater to the audience on TikTok, on social media. That's just what's happening nowadays sometimes.
Yeah. So you think like that's like a shortcut to the fame? Or is that because you will hear people say stuff like, if you don't, like, for example, like DJs. Like DJs will say, oh, if you never carry crates or records on your back and carry those big speakers, you're not a real DJ. Because now everybody have a Serato or a quick little blend in there. So the format of becoming that, that creative person or whatever is like change. It's easier now.
But things change, and then I don't think they should say that like you're not a real DJ if you didn't carry big crates. Like if you see like somebody that's born in a different time.
They're using CDs, they're labeling the songs.
Like these things we don't use them anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is digital. So of course they go use the
path
Serato.
is different.
Right? Big up DJ Cali. I can't say Cali wasn't a real DJ because Cali wasn't born in that era. Right? Cali's a dope DJ, and he basically is in the era of digital where it's Serato and them things. So because he ain't carry crates and them things, he's not a real DJ. Like, I don't really read them topic there. I mean, some people might look at me like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But for me, in my opinion, I just feel like times change.
I think it's more about kind of like respecting the craft. Like paying homage to like those who came before you and the way it happened, the way it transitioned and progressed.
And yeah, because if a DJ is not respecting the craft, then that's different.
Yeah.
If they're not respecting it. For example, some artists will tell the older artists to sit they all behind, down, like the time pass already, or like, there is disrespect and them kind of thing there. So it's like, me, I wouldn't support that. Talk about like the type of music they used to make. Like back then it was different. It's just like with hip hop now. Like when these rappers back then start telling you about all these things they have to do, sell CDs from the trunk of the car and all that stuff, right?
Now it's just streams. So basically, so like all the hard work came out of it.
Yeah.
Now it's just like from the record, from the studio onto the internet.
That's just life. Back then you had a typewriter, right?
True.
Now it's like you have Microsoft Office and all them things.
Online, everything.
360, everything online.
Now you got AI. Yeah, I got ChatGPT now.
ChatGPT, oh man, that oneself. So it's just time changing, technology is getting better, and people just have to understand that, like, you have to adapt.
Yeah, adapt.
Yeah, if you wanna get in times, you just have to fit in.
So let's say like you have advice for upcoming artists in this era right now, this generation that has access to all the technology and all the mechanical stuff. Like what advice would you give them as far as like respecting the craft and finding themselves
I like to tell the artists to just be themselves because at the end of the day, like, for them artists just want to do what they see not happening out there. Yeah, like for example, look at Booyah Music, right?
Yeah.
Booyah Music have this heartbreak song thing going around, right? I hope you find
someone else. Yeah.
It's like every other song I hear.
About heartbreak.
Is about heartbreak. Right? A girl mess them up, or they have some kind of go point like this in Creole. Right? They have some, and it's the trend. That song come out and it bust and it did well and everybody feel like, what? If
jump on the wagon.
Yeah,
So what do my blessings? Guy from Grenada, I forgot his name. He's one Soca.
Blacker Than,
yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same plot, the same story.
In his own style.
Yeah.
In his own style. Yeah. So, and it's very different too. It's very different.
It sounds different, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you can't really pass judgment on them. Anybody's like decision making in terms of what they want to do as far as being an artist.
Yeah.
But when you just look at the trend, some people just want to follow the trend and not set the trend.
All right. So talking about trend, like Booyah Music, for some reason I've really just been jump on the map. I remember as a young child, growing up in St. Lucia and stuff, we used to listen to Booyah.
The Booyah I know growing up is not the Booyah, because Booyah is on another level. Booyah, like just like how Denry segment was extremely vulgar.
Yeah.
Booyah is like on 10.
All right. So let me ask a question, because you producer, writer, artist. Those kind of music that's very vulgar, because we have a lot of conversation about it on social media. Who's asking for that kind of music? Is it the consumer, the fans, or is the artist that's putting it out there?
Well,
who's really supplying that?
At first, what I would say, the artist put it out there,
and
the people like it, and they now the people want it.
Yeah.
They're asking for it. That's what Denry segment was about. Denry segment was about just like coming out and saying it like it is.
Raw.
I'm not a Denry segment artist, but I listen to Denry segment.
Yeah.
I'm friends with some Denry segment artists. So, like, what I see when it started is just basically coming out raw. And then when it started, they were just trying to figure. I remember one time on social media, there was a back and forth about the name. Before it became Denry segment, they were calling it Lucian-born, all kind of thing. I can't remember half of it, but that's, they were trying to find the name, and then it came from Denry. That's where it started, and you call it the Denry segment.
Yeah, sure.
Which is, I like that name.
So you said that the vulgarity of the Booyah. I mean, I feel there's something for everybody. The Booyah and Denry segment is coming to vulgar. The same way, Trinidad have it, like the Trinidad zest kind of soca. Same way, Jamaica have reggae and dancehall. It's something for everybody. Do you think one artist could dabble back and forth in between those genres and really stay true to who they are and still keep that, their reputation going?
That's a part of being versatile, but at the same time, when you enter, let's say you're an artist that's more groovy and smooth, like let's use Voice for an example, Voice from Trinidad. If I have Voice singing anything vulgar, I could be like, what going on with Voice? What wrong with you?
Yeah.
Voice going through something, like, because I'll try to figure out, like, why this man, because his vibes is more of like love and peace and
unity and that kind of thing.
Have a good time, and So if I start hearing profanity and them kind of things, I'll start to question it.
Yeah.
So that's where it's all, you could be versatile, but you just have to know how to.
How to, yeah.
Because you might, like, step out of your character because of decisions you make, like if you go into that path there. Yeah, so.
But like they say, like this trend. So they say that right now, Booyah is trending. And they say as an artist, let's just use Voice as an example. Voice, this is Dominica Carnival, Lucian Carnival, you want to do a feature. How do they find their footing to leave something that's groovy and a different kind of soca, atmosphere to enter that Denry segment kind of Booyah kind of vibes?
You see, like, okay, I could use myself as an example. Coming from like just groovy, going into power, when people hear my power song, they feel like it's like almost like groovy. They're still hearing the groovy vibes. So it's like you're still hearing you.
Yeah.
I'll go on a Denry segment and I'll still be me.
Yeah.
Right? So I know they have some, that's again, versatile. Right? So they have artists that will do that, that will go on that type of squad. Because I heard like Voice Again, good example, on a job already.
Yeah.
You know, so when the man hit them type of tune there, they still giving that flavor of themselves.
They are.
But it's on a different type of instrumental. You know, some people could do it, some people can't. You know, so it's just a matter of like you just understanding the mission.
Got you. All right, so let's step into Danny's segment right now. There's a lot of conversation around Danny's segment going on social media. Right?
Boy.
In your opinion, where do you say Danny's segment started?
In Denry?
We know that it's in Denry. Denry solution. Big it up. You know, what the artists you think, in your opinion, that you believe like really?
When Denry segment came out and it was Denry segment, I don't want nobody to quote me on that, but
your opinion,
producer-wise, is DRC. I heard Doing Vibes, right? DRC giving that kind of sound.
Yeah.
Then Urbane's Mighty, and then a whole bunch of other people tap along. I don't know who I missed, but you know, it just started from that platform for me. And then, like I was saying to you earlier, Urbane's and Mighty, them men used to rip the art form.
Yes.
Right? With the kind of music, they don't miss. They don't miss. Every year they have something powerful, you know, holding down the Henry segment. So the beginning stage of it, that's why I see it happening with the producer DRC. I remember the local drums rhythm. That was one of the best rhythms ever produced by DRC. Shout out to DRC, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, that there was just classic. I remember song on that position before you know, was rocking the market. Was one of them background artists there, doing his thing, pushing himself. He had a song Position. That was my tune self. There was Bad in Bum Bum.
Yeah.
You know, and DRC had one, I think, Sit Down. I can't remember the name of the song, but I know the lyrics in it. Yeah, so it just started with, like, for me, with that sound there I was hearing, that was the Denry segment, I know.
You mentioned Oompa, man, like, Oompa been labeled like the king of, like, Denry segmentals. That kind of vibe. Like, anywhere in social media is a conversation about Denry segment, we'll say, okay, what does Oompa say about this?
You had to get the final say from the king.
The king.
Yeah. I respect his work. You know, I respect the art form. I respect how they represent it. You know, I respect them. Man, they got real global, getting shows all over, performing in African countries and France and all them places. I respect that. Yeah, but that is where he from, Denry. Yeah. So, you know, just shout out to the older Denry, man.
Definitely. And actually, I got to put this in there. I've noticed, like, he's doing a lot for the community as well. As far as businesses, entrepreneurship, you know, freelancing, giving back to the community and raising awareness.
Yeah, and that's a very powerful thing, too. I've seen that, too. And that's a good thing, you know, just creating jobs. And I've seen that, yeah. So I don't know, like, exactly who's behind it and all that stuff. Yeah. But I know he's part of it. He's part of it. So, yeah. So then that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. And shout out to him for that. Because when you see you could do those things, that just shows the type of foundation you want to set for your people and for yourself. Yeah.
But looking back during COVID time, the pandemic, there was a project you worked on as far as like raising awareness.
Yeah, it was. We were trying to raise funds for school supplies for kids that is in need of school supplies in St. Lucia. We did that in 2020, and that whole thing came down of basically, of course, the shutdown, COVID. Yeah. There's usually a breakfast party.
That's Project Education.
Project Education has a breakfast party they do every year to raise funds. And of course, they can't have it anymore. So they teamed up with me to do something, and I came up with the idea of doing a virtual event, getting artists to come through. So I got a lot of St. Lucian artists, and shout out to all the artists, CJ, DRC, but I don't want to miss nobody. I had my brother there too, Carlos Castro was there. He was supporting. Toledan was there. Rhea Black was there. Wildfire was there. You know, Image from Grenada was there. Yeah, DJ Cali was there, he pulled up. Nice. You know, Colors TV, they did the filming for us. Yeah, we had a lot of, if I miss anybody, my bad. But, you know, we had a lot of people helping, a lot of people showing a lot of love. and they came through, and we had a really good time. We get a little spot. We had some cameras set up, and I didn't even know what I was doing, but we had the right people involved. We had
The right intention, the right intention.
Yeah, and we raised a lot. We were able to generate in a lot of funds to pull through with some great stuff for St. Lucia, and I was very proud to do that, because just like we were talking about, like the giving back factor, like I like doing that. I do that on my own sometimes, and it was to partner up with Project Education to do it was a great thing, and that's something I would like to do again too with them. We took a pause, and they reached out to me the following year to do some stuff, but I think I was like really tied up. I think I went to Africa that year.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's definitely not too late. And as far as just basically like helping out like communities, I'm always in for that, like whatever it is, because at the end of the day, like we all need help.
Yeah. And
yeah,
they make you who you are.
That's
it.
it.
The community, the fans.
That's it. 100%. 100%.
All right. So let's shoot down this St. Lucia. So you gonna be home for jazz coming?
Yeah. I'm actually going down there for jazz. I ain't gonna say what I'm going down there for, but I'm going down there. Yeah, but
it's gonna be big.
Yeah. It's gonna be something. So I'll be in St. Lucia for jazz. I don't miss Carnival.
Okay.
Yeah, can't miss Carnival. So I'm gonna be there for the Carnival too as well. As far as basically competition, I took part in the Soca Monarch competition last year. I made it to the semifinals, not the finals. One of the greatest things that made me tell myself, yeah, you did your thing, was when I didn't make it to the finals.
Okay.
How I found out was social media. I got up, chill for a little bit. I usually, when I get up, I do my little meds, say my little prayer, and then I grab my phone. I go on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
First app I go onto. But I didn't do that this time. I went on social media. I don't know why, but I went on Facebook. And I don't use Facebook. I use more Instagram.
Yeah.
When I went on Facebook, the first thing I saw was that how come Eempey Slicker didn't make it to the finals with OnlyFans? I saw that from a random person. I was just like, what? So I was like, oh, so I didn't make it to the finals. All right.
Let's go confirm that.
So I went to confirm that. And then I was seeing all these comments. I was like, yo, that's actually pretty dope. People actually wanted me, So that was a good vibe for me, like the decision is final. And criteria, right? I understand that. And I'm not taking nothing away where like it's like, oh, they should have me there for real. Nah, man, I had to come back stronger, and that's what I'll do, right? If I choose to. But just seeing that just told me that like, yo, they received it. Yeah, the people received it. So whoever, even if that's just that one person, that's an accomplishment for me. So that made me proud of my movements last year.
So what was behind the decision of you choosing to be to perform, compete on the stage?
I wanted to get grounded. I feel like I had a big disconnection with the people of St. Lucia. In St. Lucia, I feel like I had a disconnection because it's like living abroad and trying to dipple and dabble in St. Lucia is like it could be a little difficult.
Yeah.
So I feel like to get grounded, being part of the Monarch was maybe, so I was just thinking that maybe that could help. And I believe it did. I believe it did. It really got me connected. A lot of people probably saw me for the first time.
Yeah.
So it was a good vibe.
So being like a New York-based artist and I guess trying to dabble into St. Lucian music and St. Lucian performances, how have you felt being received? So how difficult is it? Because you're not there every day in St. Lucia. You're not walking around seeing everybody or at the bars performing regular on smaller stages. How is it to come from New York City, a big place where you feel like other artists of other cultures, and going back home to find your footing? How is that transition to you?
Yeah, it could be a little difficult sometimes because you may not be accepted as a local.
Yeah.
Right? They don't see it as a local.
They smell it, don't they?
They could tell. They could see it.
There's no mannerisms where you vibe, where you talk, everything, right?
No matter what you do, you could
come
and change
Creole.
your accent. You could speak Creole. You could you could do whatever you want.
Don't even go by the market. They give you tourist price.
Hey, US they charging you.
US they charging.
Yeah, but so I understand because I grew up seeing it.
Yeah.
I left St. Lucia at 17, 18, and I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing people from America and England coming down, and them looking at them as foreigners. I understood just basically like the mannerisms, the persona, the character, the vibe. Some of them even have a little accent change. So I saw that, and what I saw, I became that. You know, not knowing, I had no plans to leave the island and go anywhere, but it happened.
So how have you know, being based in New York City helped your career? Like how you felt that was, because you had the influence of rap culture, that's American culture.
Yeah.
So being now in America, how has that shaped your career and shaped who you are as an artist?
I feel like me going into music as a rapper, you know, kind of taught me to understand, like, okay, find out who you really are.
Yeah.
And the song Freaky Girls kind of helped me with that too, because I rapped on that song and it's like, I just felt like I wasn't being me. It wasn't really me. But at the same time, it was me. But,
yeah.
you know, so just kind of like transitioning was fun, because I was into like a Afro and like an Afro dancehall, and then I did my first Soca song in 2019.
I want to ask that question. Like, how long were you rapping before you did the Freaky Girl song?
From since 2010 till 2016. Wow. It was just like rapping, like putting out a whole mixtape on .piff.com.
I remember that for you.
Yeah, my music there when we used to use what I think called MySpace. So it's MySpace to put up music. Yeah, so it was that kind of vibe. And then, you know, I just had a little time. I started doing a little fusion thing. I shot my first video in St. Lucia in 2015. Okay. Song called Do It Twice. It's rap with a little fusion type of Caribbean tropical vibe. Shot the video for it there, and that was my first, and then Freaky Girls became my second. And first collab.
So you continue in the soca genre from there, or do you still rap?
No, I was still doing like a little rapping thing, a little fusion, a little Afro style, a little dancehall. Yeah, I was doing all that, and then when I think it was like 2019, I think I recorded that soca song in 2017 and then released it 2019, I believe. Okay. Yeah, that was called Bring a Cup. I had to check my files on that one there, but yeah, so that's when I kind of like get into the vibes of the soca.
Gotcha. So let's go back a little bit. So so you talk about your path like from early 2010s into like to now, and we spoke about like, you know, being a stage performer, being an artist. You know, like there's so much different dynamics of being that individual. Like there's different hats you gotta wear. And as an artist going on stage, to perform on stage, you know, like how did that change who you are? Or what did it bring out of you? What did you learn from it? What did you learn from that?
Boy, that actually break out. So I'll tell you this, most people may not even believe that. Well, a lot don't believe that when I say it. I'm a shy person. Right, I'm a shy person, and then I like to be to myself. Yeah, like I always use this term, borderline introvert. Right, so it's like that's the kind of person I am. But my work environment when I did retail kind of helped me to get out of that, because you know you're dealing with people. But the music also like brought that to a higher level, and especially stage performances. Yeah. As much as I didn't want to do it sometimes, I used to tell myself like, yo, this is part of the passion that you have, you know, and that's one thing that you have to do, and you have to do it well, right? I'm still working on the performance thing. It's something I got a lot better at, because like it wasn't as great as it is now before. Like it was just like a lot of work to get done, and it's still work to get done. You could always polish yourself to a higher level, but just from looking back from where I was till now, it's great. And one of the things is just basically being shy. You know, that eliminated that. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's still there in me and for like certain levels, but yeah, being on stage just took that away. And it's fun being on stage sometimes. You know, you get to interact with people, and it's also tough being on stage sometimes. You know, especially if the people that are vibing with you. One of the toughest crowds I'll tell you is the Lucian crowd.
You say that now, people? You want to go St. Lucia just now, you know, bro.
Yeah.
They're going to hear that.
The toughest crowds is the Lucian crowd, and I rate them for it, because at the end of the day, they'll let you know when you're doing your thing. If you ain't doing your thing, you know, you get the hell out of my face. Wow. Yeah. Like there are people, sometimes I watch shows.
They ever bottle you?
Nah. I ain't never want that to happen. But they have shows I watch on TV, right? And I'll see like people in VIP, which is close to the stage. Yeah. and they're just standing, and everybody behind is like excited. And sometimes I just wonder, like, why you in the front there? And he's like, like, I don't know.
Very different things. Very stush. They just come
I know, right?
Bottle service, and they have little finger foods, and they have the nice, So it's different. But like, so you talk about the toughest of being like a stage performer, man. Like, how do you graduate from that? How do you train for that?
My personal opinion on that is practice. Yeah, it's just practicing. Most people probably use the mirror. Right, just in the mirror, your headphones on, you're singing your songs, practicing. Yeah, and one of the biggest things I would say is in crowd interaction, like interacting with the crowd, getting to understand the audience.
Yeah.
They have some artists that will walk into a room and the first thing they start to do before they perform is read the vibe of the room. Take a little peek, see what's going on, check the vibes, look at the crowd, even before they even get there, check out the vibe of the event, or see if that event is an annual event, watch the last one, see how it was.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get an idea of the type of people that go to that event, the age groups, and so you know how to prepare yourself. Because we may have wide catalogs of hits that we might feel like, no matter which one you drop, it go take.
Yeah.
That might not be the case sometimes in the different types of.
That's true. Time place for everything.
Yeah.
So being an artist, what are some of the most challenging moments that you've experienced?
There's a lot of challenging moments, It's just basically working with certain people, right? When you work with people and it's like, they're not on a timely level. When it comes to the production of things, when it comes to the engineering of things, when it comes to collaborations, and also just being respected.
Yeah.
Being respected, and it's like the promotional vibes of things, like getting booked and all them things. So a lot of that is like challenges, because sometimes you may feel like you had the ability to get on a certain level, but some people may not see you on that level. And I personally look at that as work to do.
Yeah.
If a promoter is not booking me for certain shows and I'm not getting booking because they don't feel like I'm ready yet, I just feel like I gotta get myself ready.
Get better.
Yeah, I just feel like I gotta do more to get there. And that's what it's about. There's some that will respect you, and those that will respect you, you always gotta just make sure you have them at a high level, because that is the people that opening the door for you.
Yeah.
Right? Those promoters that take that risk with you, that is the ones that you wanna really show that respect. Right? And then someone will look. I hear promoters say it already. I remember when they didn't even have a hit song yet, and I put diamond on my shoe, and now you want to charge me all that money, business is business, but at the end of the day, you just have to, don't forget how it started and where you come from. Yeah. So that is like a challenge. Just getting in the door is a big challenge, and I'm still at that stage of getting in the door, but it's a work in progress, man. It's a work in progress, because no matter how you see it, it's going to be something that's just going to be there forever for anybody else that's up and coming. You're going to go through that stage. There's always a beginning stage, and it's the toughest stage when you see you trying to market yourself, get yourself out there. You have to be consistent, you have to stay focused, you have to try new things. And unfortunately, not everything will work.
Yeah.
A lot won't work.
Talking about the business of the music industry, I was nowadays, how does the artist get paid? Is it through streams? Is it through bookings? I know there's multiple avenues, but what do you think is the most lucrative as an artist?
Showbiz money is maybe the biggest check for artists right now. Getting the biggest and fast, especially in the Soca community, the Caribbean community. That is the biggest check.
Yeah.
Right? Streams is pennies to the dollar. Right? So it's like peanuts, but it adds up.
It adds up, yeah.
It adds up. So streams is very important. You want to market yourself there on that level, because when you look at a label, if a label is coming to invest in you, they're watching your show price or them thing. They're watching the amount of streams. Are people buying this guy's record? Are people listening to them? What is your monthly listeners like on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Tidal? What is that looking like? That's what they want to know, and they want to see the territories of where, You know, so when people want to invest in you, that is the things they go look at, especially A&Rs and labels. So streams is extremely important. And like I could say that for like Lucian artists, a lot of Lucian artists, again now they're getting into it. They starting to pull through with the streams and like basically registering and licensing their songs, because there's a lot of songs you won't find it on streaming platforms. You go look for it on Spotify.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Nice
Probably only on YouTube or SoundCloud. Someone else puts it on there.
Well, and that is a problem, because when somebody else puts it out there, not you, that means somebody's reaping the benefits.
Your hard work and labor. But let's say for the solution artists, right? What responsibilities that they should take? Because you can't leave your career in the hands of a promoter, producer, or radio station or TV station. Like, what responsibilities that they have to take on as an artist that they need to develop and work on to be in this politics and to be consistent?
Well, in my opinion, I just feel like it starts with you. If you don't have no manager or nothing, it starts with you. You have to just basically make sure that when you're recording your music, that you have some like, what is the splits, what is the ownership, what part of that is yours, right? Then make sure your music is properly licensed. Make sure your music is registered with a royalties company, and just like publishing, making sure it's on streaming platforms and them type of thing. That is it, right? I think that's the first step.
Okay.
And then you're going into the marketing part of it. You're going into basically getting yourself out there on the radio, doing some radio interviews. Like that is simple steps.
Yeah.
And then there's the battle of just basically competing with promoters and other artists to try to get bookings and all them things. And getting popular, blowing up on that social media site or whatever it is.
Yeah. Because you say you're a shy guy. And I would say, like, it takes a lot of courage to be out there being an artist. Because your face is everywhere. You're on the stage, you're on the TV screen, Like, so being a shy guy, right? And coming out being an artist, how that challenge you personally, in your own personal life?
There's not really much of a challenge when it came to that. Like, personal life, it was just building confidence. It was just me telling myself I could do it.
Okay.
Keep on telling myself I could do this. I could make that happen. Yeah, let me forget about that. That vibe of being shy, nah, let me just leave that alone. And then just because that's what I want to do, right? I want to entertain. And if you entertain, you can't be, like trying to hide your face or hide yourself.
So was it somebody egging you on, supporting you, pushing you for like a family member or loved one, like?
Nah, nobody. In terms of that, nobody.
Wow.
Yeah,
just you and the man in the mirror.
Just me, yeah. Just me just telling myself, like, just to be a little confident. I mean, I did have people, like some of my team players and Slick Nation, that will be like saying, like, like, yeah, you're moving like you're shy. Just push, like, yeah, especially when we shoot videos.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was shooting this video one time and the model was there and it's like, yo, like, grab the gill and like...
Lucian,
you see, for me, that's my vibe.
That's your vibe, yeah.
Right? So that's my vibe. So you will catch me doing that. Right? No matter what it is, it's just like, I have my style. Right? But that part was not really being shy, but they will think that's what it is because they know me to be that shy person, so they would assume that. But yeah, like, in terms of just basically overcoming that was me just telling myself I could do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, as we lead into like the 2025 Carnival year celebration Carnival, what ideas or what concept you have going forward for that?
Right now, there for the 2025 Lucia Carnival is just all about just pushing the music, getting it out there, getting people to know. Like, I was there last year, I did my thing. And I feel like the music I've dropped so far, I feel like it's been received respectfully, and I really like that. I've been getting a lot of good feedback of every single song, and I'm liking the direction it's taking. I feel like the work that I put in last year, people were waiting to see what I'm coming with this year, and they seen that, hey, he's coming with something again. It's getting tougher than last year, and that's a big deal for me because, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to even come with anything harder than last year, because I looking at my song I had last year, Only Fan. I was like, how I go body that song, boy? Like, I really like that song. I was like, how am I going to body that song? And I feel like I actually did. Just thinking about the catalog there right now for this year. Yeah, man. So I'm excited about it, and I'm just pulling through to see how it's going to be received in St. Lucia for the carnival.
And like on Soca on the whole, like how you feel like like it's been progressing? Like I feel like it's getting better,
Oh yeah, a lot better. Soca music has been taking a lot of different plates. A lot of people that's outside of the market starting to recognize it. I remember I would just talk to like somebody from the Middle East or Germany, and they were like, it's like, what's that? Like they don't know what that is. We have to explain it to them or play a sound for them, and they never heard it before. But now, people telling you, yeah, what soca music is. I remember when I first went to England, when I graduated from school in St. Lucia. Same thing with St. Lucia. People didn't know where that was.
Yeah, true.
People
like you from Jamaica? Like no,
yeah.
nah.
Like the first thing was there you talk, they feel like you're from Jamaica. Yeah, because that's where everybody knows Jamaica, right? Yeah. And then it became Trinidad, Jamaica or Trinidad. Yeah. Now, everybody know where Lucia is. Yeah. The first thing they say is, "Oh, it's beautiful out there," and I just love hearing that. Yeah. Like I heard it recently. Somebody was like, "Where you from?" I was like, "I'm from St. Lucia." It's like, "Oh man, I was there. I went there on vacation. Yes. It's beautiful out there." They start telling me about P-Tour and so I like hearing those things. So St. Lucia has been real. Shout out to Julian Alfred, really putting us on the map there. And I never thought I would live to see a Olympic, yeah. Not just a medal, but a gold medal.
A gold medal.
Right? So that's a big deal for us there, right there. And shout outs to her for that because, she's a hero when it comes to that. A lot of great things coming out from St. Lucia. Hopefully this year we might have the Denry segment smashing the market again, and that'll be another great thing.
Who are you looking forward to hearing from the Denry market right now? Right now, which artist should we look out for?
Zido. Yeah, Zido representing my community, Bocage. As an artist, I feel like that's very talented. Zido is very talented. Zido is just, you have it. Okay. Tally Boy, you have it. Tension, I like Tension. I actually got something, let me leave that alone for a second. Yeah, but Tally Boy, you have his vibe. Tension have a vibe. Dove Too Funny. Yeah. You have his own style. You have, of course, Urbane and I did a lot of work together. Urbane is a very talented artist and a great entertainer. Shout out to Urbane. I performed with Urbane at the Creole Festival last year. Yeah. And that was amazing. One of the greatest experiences ever.
Great energy, yeah, a lot of energy. Man,
being on that stage was amazing, yeah. And Urbane is an energy god. Yeah, shout out to him. Man, they have a lot of great Denry segment artists, right? And then I just want to hear all of them come with something hard and just keep coming this year. I want to hear a lot more Denry segment. Yeah,
they've released a lot of songs for the year so far, and they released it early too, which is something that
Yeah, a lot coming out. But honestly, I haven't heard as much Denry segment but I heard Denry segment. Yeah. But I want to hear more, man. I want to hear some Denry segment because I really want that to take up a notch. There was a big conversation we spoke about who started it.
Pioneers of Denry.
Shout out to Moto, man. Moto Team Fox, boy.
But you worked with Team Fox before, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's my first time. I have a song with on the rhythm, the Thugs rhythm, Not My Side Chick.
That's a big song.
Yeah, man. That song is actually doing I like the direction it's taking, and I really like the song. Shout out to Man Official, Chaplot Studios. I recorded it there, and I basically wrote the song for me, and I improvised a little bit. He's a very good writer from Trinidad, and he gave me some good vibes on that. That was like a lot of back and forth with that song because there are 2 songs he did on that before we got that one. Yeah, 2. So that's why when we did the song, he's like, yo, everything happened for a reason, Yeah. Because look at the name of the song and look at the artwork. Your song really matching the artwork. I was like, I ain't even check that. That's what's up. Yeah. So, yeah, did some work with Team Fox. And shout outs to Team Fox and that, because that's one producer. Moto is one producer I wanted to work with. Yeah.
I mean, as well as Moto being being based in America, his influence in St. Lucian culture and St. Lucian music has been enormous. You gotta give him his flowers for that.
Yeah, 100%. You gotta give that. And one thing I like about Moto, he representing St. Lucia. He always have his flag. Yeah. Right. He letting you know that is where he's from. So. Yeah. Shout out to him for that. And he's going a lot of places, and you know, that's
just paving the way, opening the doors, you know.
Yeah, man. You have to give them respect for that. You have to.
So as far as like the releases coming out this year, I know there's a lot of rhythms coming out, a lot of like group collaborations. Is that something that's new, like, or like something that, I mean, it's not new, but it feels different for Lucian Soca. Usually everybody plotted songs individually, but now it's like guys jumping on one rhythm and it's hits after hit after hit.
This is the first time I'm seeing so many rhythms coming out. Maybe it has happened before and I didn't realize it, but I've seen a lot of rhythms, and I know it and there are more coming. So, you know, I know they have more coming because, you know, but I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good vibe.
Collaboration, unity.
Yeah, man. And one thing I'm liking about these rhythms is that the songs on the rhythm, everybody have a vibe.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's just flowing, and I like that about it. Everybody being named, everybody having a vibe. Like, shout out to Boogie Ranks and the Big Feast project. One of my favorite projects. I executive produced that with Boogie Ranks, and there is 5 songs on that. 5 songs. We have one from Marsville, from Barbados. Afro and Emerald Nuddy. We have Ezra and Sly and myself.
Nice.
All right, and there is 4 Lucian artists and someone from Barbados. Out of these 4 Lucian artists, I am the only artist that's not a title winner. There are actually 5 Lucian artists because Nerdy's there, he's featured with Afro, and he's also a title winner. I'm the only one that's not a title winner.
So you guys are the big dogs now.
Big dogs, man. And the thing is that it's just a good vibe of like having that type of project with, you know, dudes that's just basically like, you know, monarch winners and that kind of thing, right? Having that project, and then they delivered, you know. Like, one of my favorite songs on there is Afro and Nerdy, Flights No Feelings. I like that song a lot. Ezra has a nice tune on there, Sai has an amazing tune on there, I have my tune on there too. And Marsville, you know, you have a nice, like, this whole rhythm is smooth.
Yeah.
And when we released that rhythm, a bunch of DJs was making their own little DJ pack and putting it on YouTube, and I was just getting, like, you know, you just go put Big Fish Rhythm mix, and you see a bunch of them. Yeah. So that's a good vibe, because I remember when we did the Castro's Market Rhythm last year, where I had OnlyFan, we had to ask people to do it. Then people doing it. We ain't asked nobody. You know.
So what makes the difference in, like, okay, you made a rhythm last year, nobody want to be on top of that. But something happened this year where you have executive producer rhythm, and now it's like you have all the big guys on there. What changed?
I think it's just these guys, like, respecting, you know. I have respect down there. I have respect
the relationships?
Yeah, man. Being in relationships, just being yourself, and I feel like the artists respect me. I feel like the artists have that vibe where they see the same thing I see in them, right? For example, you know, like Nerdy, I respect Nerdy. I respect all the artists, right, for what they are and what they do. Yeah. And their accomplishments. And it's the same vibe, you know?
You feel like being a producer and a writer opened doors for you that maybe if you just own an artist would not have?
Not really. I just feel like being involved in production, being involved in writing is just, I mean, it always opens more doors because there's more things that you do.
Yeah.
So I would say yes.
Because, I mean, they are artists out there, great producers, but they're not necessarily great singing artists. And the songs ain't really popping, or the songs don't really.
Right.
So it's like, you kind of like, okay, well, how they get that feature? Is it because they produce the track, or they produce the rhythm, they're not featured, they're not?
You know, somebody told me that about Full Blown. You know Full Blown?
Yeah, Big Links Rhythm?
Big Links Rhythm. Yeah, somebody said that like that's why they have a song on it, because they produced it.
I
like
so it's a cheat code. It's a cheat code.
Full Blown been doing the thing for a while, and they're great producers, you know. And that is one of my favorite songs on the rhythm. A lot of people like The Young Brother, but that song there, Good Spirit, that's my tune on the rhythm. Yeah, man, I love that song. Yeah, so
the whole rhythm is bad. The whole rhythm is great.
Like, I was watching some chats and I saw that 3 songs on that rhythm is on every chat for, like, Antigua, St. Lucia, Guyana, Dominica, and these 3 songs are Kess song, Full Blown, and Young Brother. I'm surprised Marshall ain't on it too.
Oh,
he's probably in the top 10, but that's the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when you say you have a hit rhythm. When you see stuff like that, that's a hit rhythm.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to do with Big Fist.
So talking about that, bringing up that big links rhythm, they have a bigger links rhythm out there by what's his name? Trinidad Killer. What's his name?
Trinidad Killer?
Trinidad Killer, yeah. Trinidad Killer.
Boy.
So you know that it was like a bacchanal in the culture. You know, a little bacchanal. Like how easy it is to get onto somebody's rhythm?
So I had that same thing with the Big Fist project. After it released, a lot of people was asking for the rhythm, right? Because they don't know about it because it's not out, right?
Yeah.
So it's whoever you reach out to, they not
put
getting
you
the
on.
rhythm. Yeah, that's it, right? So when it come out, someone they be like, "Boy, that rhythm nice, boy. Can I jump on that rhythm?" Right? Producers might tell you, "Rhythm close." Yeah, rhythm close, right? And they might open it back up if there's a benefit for them, you know.
Yeah.
But if there's not, the rhythm close. So someone will not accept that and be like, you know what? I could convince him that, yeah, you have to put me on that, and they'll just do a song and put it out. That might be the right way, but not. That might be an okay thing to do, but not with everybody. Because some people, it's like the vibe. So I don't know what went on with Trinidad Killer and Full Blown on them, but you know, it worked out in his favor because at the end of the day, he had a rap legend. I call her Nicki Minaj, backing him. Yeah. And, you know, he got a new rhythm for it. He did his thing, over 2 million views, I believe. And he's getting a lot of bookings. It worked out.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing, though. So let's say you're a producer, you create a rhythm, and you put your favorite artist on, or you choose the guys you think will fit the rhythm best. Do you think it's like I don't want to say it's a click or the friend thing or whatever, the popularity contest, but it's like if you don't have a certain relationship with certain people or certain producers, you do feel like you don't get to enter that room, you don't get to go through that door.
Yeah, that's how it is. You're getting in that door there at all. You have to have a certain relationship, and sometimes even if you have it, they have to rate you too.
Yeah. Because
I have a lot of producers that I have a cool relationship with, talk to me nice, everything, but I don't get on their rhythms. Because, you know, maybe they don't feel like I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is them.
And they can't catch feelings for that.
Nah, man, for what? Because at the end of the day, all I is telling me is to just keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. Right? Keep doing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, what's there for you is there for you. Right?
Can't miss you.
I ain't stressing it because I get shut down a lot.
Yeah.
I get shut down a lot. I get told a lot of unpleasant stuff about my music and my art form. And at the end of the day, I see it as me climbing, because the reason why you're talking and the reason why you're saying what you're saying is because you're hearing what I'm doing and you've seen what I'm doing.
Nice.
Right? And you see it and you maybe don't like it for real, or maybe you like it and you just don't want to show people that you like it. I don't know. Right? But at the end of the day, go and talk.
That's it.
I'm still working. Why are you talking? I'm working. That is it. Yeah? And it's like when you look at the rhythms, and people maybe just putting in their friends. I see that a lot, you know, their friends or the same set of people, and you know, if you want to change that, you could change that by just proving yourself.
Yeah.
You just prove yourself, and then you'll just hop on that project one day, and you'll change the whole dynamic of how that producer working in people. You know, because for me, Big Fist project this year is different from Cashier's Market last year. The artist that was in it.
Yeah.
The only one artist that's on that project that was there last year is Nerdy. Why? Because he featured with Afro.
Okay.
Right? So it's like it's a mixture, and then my next rhythm, I plan to do more projects with Boogie Rungs, right? And then the next one will be something different.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Alright, so opening doors are artists. Like there's a lot of like dynamics to this. Either you could be a great artist or even have like a great personality, a great character. You know, so which one? I mean, for me personally, I always lean towards having a great personality and a great character to open any door for you. Like you don't have to ever sell yourself or sell your soul. But there are some people out there who are great artists, but they are very nasty characters. They still, and you see like they don't get the opportunities. Like do you see that happen a lot in, like, you know, especially the Soca?
I see it happening, but I wouldn't say a lot, but I see it happening. But you see these things, they don't last, because I see a lot of men that have some real bad personality and they're disrespectful, you know, and they just feel like certain people not supposed to be in their presence. That don't last, you know. The man just there is like 2 years from now, you say it's like, oh yeah, boy, this man used to do this, and
they fall off.
You know, yeah, fall off bad. You know? So at the end of the day, the whole thing is to just be respectful, man. Be respectful, be humble, and it's like, just be polite.
Be yourself.
That's hard work.
Nah.
You know?
Hard for a lot of people, though. A lot of people ain't got no self-development, brother.
Well, that is true, but you see, for me, I say it's not hard work because I'm going on based off my way of doing things.
Yeah.
But, you know, speaking in general, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you here today. I'm looking forward to hearing your new projects and your new music.
Yeah, definitely going to be hearing a lot of great stuff, man. But give thanks for having me there. I appreciate it.
All right, bless you, man.
Then representing 758 Slick Nation, Eempey Slicker.
So let the people know, where they can hear your music, where they can find you, social media.
Yeah, for sure. You could definitely find me on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, Amazon Music, all over. You could also get me on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, Eempey Slicker. Social media, you'll get me on Instagram, TikTok. You'll get me on Facebook under Eempey Slicker, EEMPEY_Slicker, SLICKER. So if you're looking for me, you'll find me. You could just Google search Eempey Slicker or Google search one of my songs and you'll see something there.
Gotcha. All right.